Here's a bit of a public service announcement for those who haven't purchased Assassin's Creed Origins yet and are relying on reviews to make your decision. It has recently come to my attention that Assassin's Creed Origins Metacritic page has been flooded by a slew of fake, positive user reviews. The following information was first reported by website Kotaku. When they visited the site recently, they noticed that some reviews were spammed over and over again. For example, one of the repeating reviews was shoddily written as follows: "Way better than Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It is more mature and Bayek is interesting character, and the historical characters are handled well." Another better written one reads, "Assassin's Creed Origins is a dark, multifaceted, deep dive into one of the series' most alluring setting yet, ancient Egypt, as Bayek of Siwa, who is simultaneously compassionate, bold, and driven by revenge. You're strung through a twisted story of pharaohs and corrupt leaders." And if you go to the game's user reviews right now, one quick scan will show that something is definitely amiss. While the repeating reviews were all posted by different accounts, as you can see, all their names are random sequences of numbers and letters, indicating that this is the handiwork of one or a couple of individuals who used some type of spam bot to generate these. Kotaku reached out to Metacritic to inquire about the matter, and here's how they responded. "It's not a frequent occurrence, maybe 2 to 3 games a year. And yes, we have been aware of this case, and we have been moderating those reviews and suspending those accounts, most off of which had one single review in their history. The people doing it appear to be changing it up with the chunk of text they keep replicating, but our moderators are working overtime to combat it." What all this has resulted in is the game's user score gaining a significant boost. I actually recall that the last time I checked the user score for Assassin's Creed Origins, a day or two or so after the game launched, it was hovering around the mid-6s, but following the flood of fake reviews, the user score rose to as high as 8.0 from over 600 reviews, according to Kotaku. If you go to the website now, however, the score has lowered to a 7.6, which might be a result of Metacritic taking action to delete some of the fake reviews and accounts. But basically, if you're like me and do find some value in comparing the user review scores with the critic review scores, I'd recommend being careful about Assassin's Creed Origins Metacritic page. Not trying to say that it's weird for the game to get positive user reviews or anything like that. All I'm saying is that we know for a fact that the user score has been tampered with to be increased significantly, so don't be too keen on relying on them until Metacritic gets a handle on this. At the very least, look through each user review individually, try to pick out the real ones, and see what they generally have to say. Now, while it is true that Metacritic's user score isn't quite as important as the critic score in terms of driving game sales, they do tend to inform consumers' general feelings and perception of a game series, a game developer, a game publisher, and their business practices. For example, I don't actually think that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is so bad of a game that it deserves a score of 3.6 out of 10. But at the same time, this user score does inform that there were grievances against Activision's business practices and their lack of innovation for the series. So while I wouldn't say that user scores are always accurate or fair, they do tend to provide some important insight, which is why I think it is important for the integrity of the user score to be maintained. It's another tool for people to use to inform themselves about their purchases. But that can't happen if people start spamming fake reviews like this, whether this is some idea of a joke or a means to appease certain insecurities about their game purchase and their unhealthy concerns for other people's opinions. It is worth noting that flooding a website with spammed reviews is not quite the same thing as review bombing. From what I understand, review bombing is what happens when individuals of a community rally en masse to send a message to a perpetrating developer or publisher by bombarding their game with overwhelmingly negative reviews. While I can't say that I necessarily agree with this practice, at the very least, I can respect that there is a real message underneath all that aggression. For example, when Take-Two announced that they would be hammering down on GTA 5 mods, the community rallied and review bombed GTA 5 to strongly convey that they ain't having that shit, that they wouldn't be dictated on how they could use the software that they own and bought. While I wouldn't say that the flood of negative scores were representative of the game's actual quality, the message and intention behind this protest against Take-Two's shitty decision was tangible and real. Same thing happened with Fallout 4 when Bethesda launched the Creation Club paid mod store, after which the game was review bombed to hell on Steam. Again, while I wouldn't say that the negative ratings and scores are actually representative of the game's overall quality, the message was very clear and very much real. This was the community rallying and telling Bethesda that nobody wants their disgraceful Creation Club paid mods bullshit, and that part I can respect. These fake Assassin's Creed Origins reviews, on the other hand, are just that, fake. There's no real communal message behind any of this. It's just the work of one or a few entities masquerading as the masses by spamming bullshit in an attempt to artificially skew public perception in their favor. And that, if you ask me, is quite petty and pathetic. So yeah, for the moment, all I'm saying is be wary of Assassin's Creed Origins' user review score on Metacritic if you intend to rely on them to some extent to inform your purchase. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video useful, and if you liked this video and enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. All contributions will go towards helping us remain 100% independent. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.